My name is Lisa Gibalerio, and I oversee the Belmont Wellness Coalition. And I'm here today to present some slides to all of you regarding our youth and substance misuse. This will be about a 5 or 6 minute video, and at the end, I'll have information on how to reach me if you have any follow-up questions at all, or if you want to join our parent group or our coalition, or join us in any way possible. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll get right to it. So this morning, for the next 5 or 6 minutes, I'm going to be covering the following topics. We'll talk briefly about what the social host liability law is and how it impacts you. We will also talk about substances and the impacts of those on our young people's developing brains. I'll touch briefly on the recent 2025 Youth Risk Behavior Survey data and also talk a little bit about what young people tell us concerning how they are actually getting their hands on substances. We'll also briefly discuss some strategies that you can impart to your teenagers regarding prevention, how you can be a responsible host if you're having a group of kids over into your home, and we'll review some refusal skills. And those are basically strategies that you can talk with your teens about how they can decline an offer of substances. So, what is the social host liability law? Well, this is a Massachusetts law, and it's in many, many states across our nation. But it is a law that states it's illegal to provide alcohol or cannabis to anyone under the age of 21. And if that happens, if teens are consuming these substances in your home and anything goes wrong, you will be held responsible. So again, it is illegal to have young people below the age of 21 using these substances. And I just want to stress that this applies even if you're out to dinner and you don't even know that a pop-up party has occurred. Your knowledge does not really apply here. So if you don't know and something still happens, you can still be liable. And what can happen to you? Well, there are fines, and there have been cases in Massachusetts where people have done some prison time for very serious outcomes of underage drinking. So aside from the law, let's talk briefly about the negative impacts of these substances. So with regard to alcohol, we know there's a lot of evidence-based data around this, that it absolutely affects their developing brains. We know that when they are under the influence, they are at higher risk for various kinds of accidents, whether it's car, bike, drownings, or even sexual assault. We know that it impairs their judgment, makes them more prone to take risks that they would not normally take. And we also know that frequent use can trigger an addiction, which is certainly something we want to avoid. With regard to cannabis, the impacts are, there's some similarities. It definitely impacts their developing brains. It can affect their coordination, their timing, their movement. We know that if they're using it frequently, it can lead to less motivation with regard to school or jobs, basically an overall sense of apathy. And one thing that is certainly true is that today's cannabis is much stronger than it used to be. 3 or 4 times the levels of THC are in cannabis, which means the effects of it will be much stronger. So a very sneak peek into the most recent YRBS data shows us that about 20% of teens report using alcohol or cannabis on weekends. So we know that the older the teen, the use generally rises. So perhaps freshmen will be using less frequently than juniors or seniors. We also know that they don't believe that these substances are all that harmful, especially alcohol. So that's something that we need to talk with our kids about, those harmful impacts. So how are they getting their hands on substances? Well, we at the BWC meet with young people and we ask this question, and the answer is that they can get online and figure out how to get really high quality fake IDs. And they use those IDs, obviously, to purchase substances. They also dip into what's in your home. So if you have a liquor cabinet or a section where you keep some alcohol, just know that your teenagers know where that is and they may be experimenting with what you have in your home. And they also ask older friends and siblings to help them access it. So, a quick dive into some prevention strategies. We know that caregivers who talk with their kids and have conversations about substances, we know that those kids tend to delay use, which is what we are looking for. So, engage in conversations with your teens about those harmful impacts. Share why you're concerned about it. Seek to understand why they might be interested in actually experimenting with alcohol or cannabis. And if you're concerned about what you're hearing, then you can definitely talk with a substance misuse professional. Those are available. Or you can talk with me as well. So additional strategies. Again, you're going to ask questions, you're going to engage in a conversation, but you're also going to make your expectations very clear. If you do not, if you want to communicate to them that you expect that they not use these substances, say that. Also, be aware of what they're doing, who they're going out with, where they're going. And also, it's a very good habit to be in touch with their friends' parents. I always used to get the cell phone numbers of my kids' friends' parents so that we could touch base. Are you home tonight? I heard they're gathering at your house. Do you know, if they're going to such and such a place? So it just having that level of communication, having more data can be very helpful. And if you are someone who likes to have a glass of wine with dinner, that's fine. We're not saying not to, but we're just asking that you do so responsibly during these years, especially. And if you're going to have consequences, you got to follow through. So things that can help is, if your kid is feeling stressed out, help them to identify some really positive coping mechanisms. These that I have here: music, exercise, friends, pets, and journaling, are what youth came up with at a focus group we did regarding what they see as positive coping mechanisms. So encourage your kids to to engage in something that works for them. Also, if they are going out to a party or, something that feels a little more high risk, make a plan. Say, hey, you can text or call me at any time. We'll meet somewhere safe. And I think it's a really good rule of thumb to have your kids check in with you when they get home. Some parents can stay up. Some parents will need to be awakened. That's your call. But having that quick check-in can give you a little data on how the evening went. And obviously, it lets you know that they're home safe. If you're hosting that event, if you're hosting the, end of season swim team party, or, the performing arts party at the end of the play, here are some things to keep in mind. You've got to absolutely supervise the event. And we know that because of social host liability, but we also know that it makes sense for you to be there. Have a sense of who's going to be there, how many kids, who are the kids, and, support them in having fun without substances, whatever that looks like. Maybe, special food, or letting them pick any movie to buy or whatever, but they can have fun without substances. So be a support for that. If your teen is going off to a party or a social event, as I said, definitely be in touch with other parents. And again, make a plan if they need to get out of the situation. So finally, the refusal strategies for saying no, these are also called refusal skills. Review these with your kids. Tell them to be confident, to be direct, and to be very clear in saying, no, I'm good, or no, no thanks, I'm driving tonight, or not right now, maybe later, or put the blame on parents or coaches, make them the bad guys. Oh, my parents would kill me, my coach would not be into this. So most kids, we are told, will not push back on a no thanks. So having your own teen practice and being aware of things they can say can really make a meaningful difference in those high stress, pressured situations. So For more information on all of this, as well as, we talk about screen time at the BWC, we talk about bullying, we talk a lot about mental health, we talk about dating, relationships, consent. There are many topics regarding youth that we do address, and our website is up there, belmontwellness.org. You can look on our website for various tip sheets and resources. You can always reach out to me. My email is right there. And finally, we have a monthly parent group where we talk about all of these things, where we talk about mental health, where we talk about substances, we talk about autonomy, we talk about many, many issues impacting young people today. So reach out to me and I can connect you to our monthly parent group. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, we are here as a resource, so please reach out. Thank you.